Hey everybody, welcome! My name is Kurt, aka the Vitruvian Gamer, and I'm here with a new playthrough, and I believe this is a cool one because I'm going to play Terraforming Mars, a game that I got at Spiel 2016 and which has grown to be one of the favorite games of this year for me. This is a game by designer Jacob Frixelius, and it is published by Frix Games and Stronghold Games. It has been a very popular game, had gotten great reviews, and I'm liking it as well. So today I'm going to do a solo playthrough because there is a solo variant in the rulebook. So without further ado, let's go to the table, let's go to the board, and let's start Terraforming Mars. Now, I already set up a large part of this game. As you can see, we have the board with Mars there, with all hexes on the board. We have our own player board. Now I'm using this plastic jingies to keep the little cubes in place a little bit better. It doesn't come with the game, so beware of that. I already have my resources there, which are just, well, actually they're not the resources, they're just the cubes to show how much you have of a certain resource. The bronze ones here are worth 1, the silver ones are worth 5, and the gold ones are worth 10. Alright, so we also have our production on our player board, and let me show you that from a little bit closer. And we have 6 productions that we have. We have our money, our terraforming millions here. We start at 0, but we start at 0 everywhere. We have steel that we can produce, titanium, we have plants that we can produce, energy and heat. So it all starts at 0, so I put my cubes over there. Now let's go back to the board, and on the board I've done some other things. I'm sorry about the shaking. We started with this cube here on the number 1. This is a marker that will show us in which generation we are playing, because this game plays in a number of generations. In a multiplayer game it might take as long as needed, but in a solo game we are going to play a maximum of 14 generations. We also put one of our cubes on the 14 spot. We start there in a solo game. That's our terraforming rating. That's how much points we have. But more important, that helps us getting some more money during the production phase. What else? We have one big marker over there. This is our oxygen track. So first, when we start, there is 0 oxygen on the planet, but we want to get that all the way up there to 14 so we can breathe happily. We have there 9 tokens, 9 ocean tokens. Also, one of the goals of the game, we have to put all these 9 tokens on the different spaces on Mars, and they are depicted. The space where that can happen are the blue ones on the board as well. And we have one more on the temperature track. We start here at minus 30 degrees Celsius, which is pretty cold, and we want to bring it all up to plus 8, which is still a little bit chilly, but it's better than it is. I've already put some tokens aside. These are cities and greeneries that we want to place on the board. We have a big draw pile of cards, which is of course the heart of the game. And well, we have this pile of cards. These are companies. We are going to draw one at random from this, and that's the company we will be playing with their special rules and setup as well. Now, before we start the game, we have to put some cities and greeneries on the board first before we do that, and that has to be random. So what we will do for that is we are going to reveal and discard the top 4 cards of the draw deck, and let's just show how it works. So we take the top card here. When we look at the number here in the left corner, we don't see to add anything else yet, but we just look at that number. We take a city tile and we have to put it in the 5th spot, starting from like reading left to right and the way down. It's a 5, so that's not far down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a ocean space. I think we have to, yeah, we have to skip those. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we cannot place city tiles on the blue spots, they're reserved for oceans. Alright, that's the first city. We discard, and we always discard face down. Now I'm not sure if this is important in a solo game, but in a multiplayer game you always do it face down. Now we take the next one, it's 9 here. We take another city tile and we do this again, but from the other way around. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have a neutral city right over there. Now we have to place 2 greeneries as well. So we draw the first card again. Now we have a 6. We take a greenery and we start counting from the top left of the city and we go clockwise. Now we skip the ocean tiles again, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. We have a neutral greenery right over there. There we go. Now normally that should give us oxygen, but of course this time it is not happening. We have to do that ourselves. Now we have another one. Oh, another 6. So we do that with the other one here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there is another greenery, another neutral greenery. There we go. So that's set up. Now we have companies as corporations. Now if you play your first game, especially in a multiplayer game, you choose the beginner corporation, which is easy. It's without special stuff. So there's 1 card for each, but we are going to play with a corporation. We want to be something or someone with a name. So let's shuffle all these corporations and let's draw one and let's see what we get. So this determines how much starting money we get. Maybe it influences the number of cards we have and to start with, and we get a special ability. There we go. This is the one we are going to play. Let's read it. So interplanetary cinematics, pretty cool. So we start, wow, we start with 20 steel and 30 million space credits, and we have an effect here. Each time we play an event, we gain 2 million. So that's pretty cool. That's not a bad way to start. So let's put the cards on the board and let's go to our player board and see how much we get. So we get 20 million steel. Now steel you get, well, you put in this square here and you use these all these cubes that I showed before. Now we need 20, so we get 2 of these 10 cubes here, the golden cubes. That's 20 steel, and we have 30 million Terra credits or whatever it's called, and those go here. Pretty cool. That's the way we start. And now we can, well, actually we can begin. Now let me tell you what the goal is of this game. We have 14 generations to get, well, as I already said, to get oxygen on 14%, to get temperature on +8, and to get all 9 of those ocean tiles on the board. All right, so that means we can start playing. So let me play 1 round already in this video, maybe 2, but I think we are going to do 1 because we also need starting cards. And how does that work? Well, very simple. We draw 7, 8, 9, 10 cards from the deck. Now we don't start with these cards in our hand, we have to buy them. So we have these cards in our hand, and now we have to choose which ones we are going to keep in our hand. The cost for each card is 3 million credits, so they're pretty expensive. And the thematic idea about this is research. So I am going to research some stuff which I can use later in the game. Okay, and these are the cards that I'm keeping. So those cost me 3 each, so that's 15 million already. So I'm spending 20, taking back 5. So that's how this works, how you manage your resources. Now you cannot see this anymore, what's behind here. Now behind that there are things called milestones and awards. That's not used in a solo game, so we can just skip that. The deal is, in a multiplayer game you can go for awards. If you reach certain things first, you can pay some money and get a bonus of points, or you can guess that you are the first one to score points, or to the one to have the most of something at the end of the game. And I noticed there was a lot of shadow over there. It's still there a little bit with the cards here, but I'm sorry about that. I think it will do like this. Okay, so let's get started. So we have 5 cards. That's the first thing we did. And then we can start playing. Now, what can we do in a turn, or what can we do as an action? There are quite some options that you can do. We have a handy dandy reference sheet, and as you can see, we can play a card. Let's explain playing a card. Let's explain what that does. So, what does a card playing means? Let's take one, for example. Playing a card, it has a cost. So this one will cost us 3 million to build, to play. Now, some cards, they have symbols next to the cost. That means we have a requisite to build it, and it's a lot of symbols here, but it's always explained in words on the card as well, which is sometimes easier than the icons. So in this case, it costs us 12 million, and we require 2 ocean tiles on the board on Mars already, so that this card we cannot play yet. Now, as you can see, cards also have tags. These might influence other cards, rewards in multiplayer game as well. But this one means it's a construction that can use steel to build. Now, we have steel, as you know. Each steel is worth 2 million when using it to build a card with this symbol. So we could use our steel to build this one, as soon as of course, we have some oceans. Now, these blue cards, they are cards that stay in front of you and that you have an effect or an action. Now, in this case, this is one that has an action. We can, as an action during a turn or during a generation, we can pay 3 energy to raise oxygen level 1 step. So, but we have other cards as well. Well, let me talk about this one. If there's a symbol in this brown square, that means it will raise a production of that material, in this case, energy. What else do we have? We have red cards. Those are events, and remember, we get more money if we play events, which is pretty cool. Now, events, they are played once. If they are played, they are going to a separate discard pile. They might have points as well at the end of the game, which is not that important in a solo game, although you score points as well to keep your best scores. If there's a symbol here in these reddish squares here, that means it can affect yourself or an opponent. Now, in a solo game, there is a virtual opponent that you can steal from and stuff like that. So if we play this, we could steal 2 plans from a player. So that's something we might do. This arrow also means that it's an event, so it gets done immediately and then it goes away. And we have the green cards. These ones are one-time cards, so something happens when you play it. In this case, we are going to lower our energy production, and we're going to put 3 more in our heat production. If that happened, that's done, but we still keep the card in our tableau, and it gets used for its tags and maybe for points on the card as well. Alright, so that's one action we can do. We can play a card. Next thing we can do is use a standard project, which I already told you. These are the standard projects. We can, as an action, do whatever the card says. We can also use... Oh, that's not true. This was the action card. The standard actions are right over here on the board. We could discard any number of cards, and then we gain as much million as in the number of cards we discarded. We could pay 11 million to raise our energy production once, and we could pay 14 to raise temperature once, 18 to, well, place an ocean, 23 to place a greenery, and 25 to build a city. All right, that's something we can do as well. What's next? Well, there are 2 more actions that we can do. So let's go to our player board for those. Because there are 2 more things we can do. First of all, we can pay 8 plants that we collected during the game, and we can pay them, and then we can build another greenery on Mars, one of these. Now, if we build a greenery, we score 1 point, but we also raise temperature once, which is pretty cool. Or we can pay 8 heat to raise temperature once. So that's how we get to +8 degrees. All right, but I talked too much. Let's just play and see what happens. think I'll do one generation and then end this video. It will be a long one this time. I promise next will be shorter. Okay, so first generation, we don't have that much money left after buying our cards. So let's see what we can do with our 15 million. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spend, let's see, I'm going to spend 3 of those 15 millions and I'm going to play Space Mirrors. So this is an action card. We pay the cost. There are no requisitions to buy it, so we can just play it somewhere in our tableau. And well, from now on we can use this action once each generation. So that's the second thing I'm going to do. I'm going to pay 7 more millions. Let's get 3 back. To activate it, we can exhaust the card, or sometimes I just put a cube on it to show it has been used. So we pay 7, and if we pay 7 we can raise our energy production once. Now this happens out of screen a little bit below, so we put our energy production to 1 now. All right, great. So we have 5 million left. That's not a lot. There's not a lot I can do with 5 million, but I'm going to do one thing here. I'm going to build a carbonate processing. So to do that, we can, well, pay 6 million, as you can see, but I can also pay with steel. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay 3 steel because each steel is worth 2. So I need 3 steel. So let's get 7 back here. And then I'm playing carbonate process, which gives us, well, we have to decrease our energy production 1 step. So we go back to 0, but we can raise our heat production 3. So that's going to help us in getting the temperature up on Mars. So we also put this card in our tableau. All right, I got still some money left still, but I don't think there is any much that I can do with 5 million. Nothing very interesting though. So this ends the first generation. Now after the action phase, there is the production phase. Let's go to the player board to explain that a little bit. So here we are. So production, first of all, we are going to do energy to heat. So you see this arrow here. That's the start of each production phase. Every cube that's still here on the energy will convert automatically to heat. So you put all the cubes that are here and you put them into the spot of heat, which doesn't happen at this moment. And then everything is going to produce. Now first we get money. Now we just go look at this here, is at 0, and we look at our terraforming rating, which is 14 at the beginning of the game and hasn't changed yet, sadly enough. So I'm going to get, let's get 15 and give 1 back here. So we get 15 million to use next round. We don't have any production here, but we do produce 3 heat. There we go, 3 heat there, and that's the production. Now that's it. That's 1 round, 1 generation, and as you can see, nothing happened yet. It's always a slow start. You have to build up things. It has been a long video already, so I'm going to stop here. So pretty soon part 2 will be there. We're going to play a couple of generations in part 2 normally, so I hope you will be there and you will watch the videos, you will like them. Feel free to thumbs up the videos I make and I upload. Feel free to comment. I might do some mistakes, although I will film much more parts in one run, so I might not be able to correct them in the game, but I will add notes to the video. So feel free to subscribe if you did not already, and well, feel free to visit me on Twitter. I'm at Vitruvian Gamer over there, or just send me an email, vitruviangamer@gmail.com. That's Vitruvian with VE, not VI, and I'm also on Instagram lately. That's Vitruvian Gamer 21 over there. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you all soon in the future on Mars. Bye bye.